Hello everybody, my name is Dratnos, and today we're going to take a look at Iron Docks. This is just a stream VOD of this dungeon at level 16. Yeah, level 16. We're going to start off with a couple of things wrong here. First thing I did wrong, I didn't take my bounty of choice from the Shrouded Affix person at the start of the key. So I'll give you a weak aura in the description below so you don't have that happen to you. And second off, this old challenge mode style pull, grabbing everything in this area, a little bit sus with the Shrouded Affix. You'll see we've got people dying to actually mostly the Shrouded Affix effect, the Shadow Eruption, the Frontal, those sorts of things, combining with all the mobs here. So do not recommend this. This pull is somewhat, at least tricky if you want to set it up. Now luckily, because that ended up going badly, I still haven't chosen my stat, and I think I remembered to click it before I kill this infiltrator here, so yeah, it's worth noting infiltrators don't reset their health like most mobs do when you kill them, and so you can kind of half wipe and still get some value. So yeah, I'm gonna go grab my stat buff if I remember correctly what happens here. Yep, gonna go grab whichever one you want. If you don't pick anything, it'll default to verse, but crit's better for Brew. Depending on which tank you're playing, you may have, or which character you're playing, you're gonna have a different best option from that, or just try out a bunch and see how they all feel. Haste classes are the ones that get to have the most fun this patch. So I'd recommend killing any Shrouded enemies you see, any enemies with that purple cloud and the Shrouded debuff in the starting areas of dungeons. They are really valuable because they still give count. That's a change from PTR information. And they give you that stacking stat buff, which is really strong. 2% crit, 2% haste, 1% verse, or 69 mastery per stack is a lot of stats, especially if you're a haste or crit user. So very good. Otherwise, this trash in the beginning area, it does some raid damage. There's not too much like dodgy stuff going on here, like dodging. It's mostly just mobs that do damage to people in your party, so heal them. Group these mobs up, the incinerate, or some of the mobs here like to stay back and shoot at you from afar, so gripping those in, or ring-a-piecing those in, or fighting on top of them is going to be a good strategy for those enemies. And yeah, burning arrows, ground effect, you're going to want to move out of. I think that these trash pulls, though, are generally pretty easy compared to the rest. Now, up ahead here, just here, you'll see Zolgamux. Normally, she's disguised as an enemy, but that's the one up just up at the top of the screen here. First, before we fight her, we're going to do this Siegemaster pull. Siegemaster is sort of like a little mini-boss. Also doesn't seem to do all that much that's too deadly. It does this shattering ground AoE, hits the group for a little bit of damage, but that didn't seem like it was doing too much, and then that whirly axe that you want to dodge out of. Okay, so this is Zolgamux. Zolgamux spawns in the same spot every time in this dungeon and in every dungeon. So it's always going to be here. The only reason it wasn't disguised was because we had that horrible pull at the start of the dungeon this time, and has a couple different abilities. The bats that she spawns will basically kill somebody if they finish their Hypnotize cast. You want to CC those once, and then they'll just despawn harmlessly afterwards. And then that Blood Siphon shield, she puts a shield on herself, starts channeling a heal, and damaging the whole group, and you have to break through that shield, and then kick the Blood Siphon cast. And then this Shadow Eruption, you can see actually the texture is a little bit hard to see because of the ground here, but that's an AoE that you move out of. There's that next Blood Siphon shield. You can see it's a pretty big shield. Mortal Strike effects will reduce the size of this healing, as will defensives or immunities on your group, but it's not really worth using too much for that. Something like an AMZ there will reduce the amount of healing because it is based on the damage done. Zolgamux also puts a stacking dot on your tank, which you can dispel whenever, and then yeah, there's that bat again, which you just stun, and then it'll go away after a little while. It'll stay around for a little bit, but it won't do anything more important. It'll just sit there until it despawns. So again, we see another Shrouded mob over here. Grabbing those early and often seems like a really good strategy to just get those stacking up. The regular Shrouded mobs don't do too much. They do these Nightmare Clouds. These are zones that you want to not stand in. That's that purple thing under the Ring of Peace right there, you can see. And then this Carrion Swarm cone aimed at somebody in the group. You just move out of that, dodge it. It's pretty well telegraphed. If you get hit by it, it's a nasty healing reduction. And then finally, they cast Vampiric Claws at your tank, which heals the mob based on how much damage it does. So you can see here, bang, it healed for like 4% of its health. Depending on which tank you're playing, that may do more or less. I think it does a little bit less when it's targeting a Brewmaster, because I think its stagger is reducing how much by like a third of that magic damage is actually dealt. So yeah, using a defensive, using something like AMS if you're a Blood Decay against that is really good, because it will mean that the mob won't heal as much, or in the case of AMS, at all. This is the first boss here, Fleshrender Knockgar. Doesn't do too much until you get it to 50%. You'll just get some AoE fire arrows on the ground. This is where the fight gets pretty deadly, though. That wolf starts charging and just murdering people that are in front of it. Does a lot of damage, so just never be in front of that wolf. Give it a lot of respect. And then it does this savage mauling as well, where it jumps on somebody and just starts beating them up. They can run away to try and not get beat up as much. And there you can see, that looks like that wolf just went through and, yeah, killed everybody. So a brutal, brutal murdering of the group here. So yeah, that's the wolf. I kind of suspect that the damage on that savage mauling, not savage mauling, just the frontal, the shredding swipes, is going to get reduced. But until then, just treat the front of the wolf like a unbelievably deadly place. Oh, there's another infiltrator. So here in Iron Docks, this infiltrator over here seems like a good one to grab. I've just gone and grabbed it, gone and tagged it, and just going to put some damage in it here while I wait to die to this boss and go again. Let's just skip ahead a little bit here to next time we do the boss. I guess we just went and grabbed that infiltrator. Oh, actually, where did this infiltrator come from? Okay, this infiltrator was just in the boss room over to the right in the corner there. We didn't grab this one earlier, but good one to grab. All the infiltrators that are early in dungeons, I'm pretty sure they're very valuable to pick up. So we're going to get this one, and then we'll go grab the one, yeah, just over on the other side of where the boss spawns. Over here. And I don't think there's any more further into that area. If there are, you'd have to pull a lot of stuff to get to them. That's the kind of thing. Once MDT has all of this updated, then we'll know for sure where they all are. Okay, so yeah, get these stat buffs, then we'll fight the boss again. The other mechanic on this boss below 50% is Reckless Provocation. So this is something that the boss itself does, not the wolf. And it gains a shield thing around it. Whenever you hit into that, you'll get feared. And you really don't want to get feared, that's bad. But you can purge or spell steal the shield to get rid of it. Otherwise, you just want to not hit the boss. I think you can AoE and it'll be okay, but just don't directly hit it. There's that Reckless Provocation shield that you can see. Yeah, and you just leave that and, focus the wolf down and purge or spell steal that if you can. And then otherwise, just don't stand in the fire. And the boss, really not too bad, but that wolf damage is really nasty. So once this boss goes down, you're going to see some Ogron up ahead in this area. These can be killed by the Iron Stars that are part of the next section of the dungeon. So you can grab these and move them on top of so that somebody on the Iron Stars can get a good shot here. All the mobs in this area do give count, so you want to hit as many of them as you can with the Iron Stars. I'm not sure how much flexibility routes will have to, make sure you will be okay. Even if you miss some of these, we'll see. My routes in particular, I'll make sure whenever MDT is updated and I've got routes out that I give you a little bit of wiggle room on these. You don't have to hit 100% of these enemies, but yeah, you just want to send these 3 Iron Stars down. It's worth noting that little patrol, you can just see the farthest back Ogron that's dead, just now behind my interrupt tracker. That one can actually only be hit by the second Iron Star because of these tank traps and stuff that are there. So that person should try and aim in such a way that they'll hit that really far patrol. Okay, next pull here. That big Ogron is actually another infiltrator, so you can get 2 infiltrators on this pull. This area, you want to be careful to not run too far ahead, because this is the Cannon Barrage Gauntlet. These mobs don't do too much. They do these hatchet tosses. You can see those spinning hatchets on the ground. Those do quite a bit of damage and move around kind of unpredictably. And this is what you shouldn't do in this area, is just run ahead wildly when there hasn't been anything going on for a while, because soon what will happen... Okay, we managed to dodge it this time, but yeah, if you're not careful, you'll die because there you can see our hunter gets shot by the cannon barrage that is going on in this area. So you want to make sure you can get behind these boxes, because the cannon barrage will kill you if you're out and you can see the ship that's just over behind me in terms of where my current perspective is. You're fighting in a pretty confined area here, which is sort of annoying because all of those axes are spinning around and doing a lot of damage here. It's another thing to note is that you can actually do damage to these mobs by having them be in the cannon barrage. So effects like Ring of Peace, knocking those mobs over there, or like mass gripping them out to be in the fire is a good way to get some extra damage. Just be careful because, you know, you don't want to stand yourself out there, so you're trying to tank them in such a way that they are getting hit by the fire, or by the cannons, but you are not. So we'll do this with this Ogron here. Oh, no, we won't. Okay. I learned this later on, I think, from this video. So yeah, you can see the Ogron right now is not getting hit by any of the cannon barrage, but you can tank it in such a way that it does. This one just does a little party damage. Let's see. I think I maybe learned it here. Nope. Just going to keep pulling it forward while there's a spot in the cannon barrage. Keep bringing it on down. And yeah, just kill the Ogron. Then behind the next thing here, Inspiring is really annoying for trying to set this up, right? For trying to get the mobs to be hit by the barrage. Because it'll make them immune to Ring of Peace and stuff. But yeah, there's an Infiltrator in this next pack. You can grab that. And then these mobs, the Flame Slingers, don't actually respect the line of sight of the boxes here. They just shoot you anyways. The boxes aren't really line of sight. You can see I'm trying to like Ring of Peace them there a little bit. And you can see there, you can see them getting hit by some of the cannon shots, I think. Maybe they're still not quite getting hit by them. As we finish off these, I'm just going to move over and fight these mobs here. So let's see if that Inspiring mob gets hit by the next set of cannon barrages, because it seems like it's just out where it should be getting hit. Okay, now it's moved back in. It's probably safe. Oh, no, you can see it got hit by some of those cannon shots, the ones that were closest to it. Looks like it's not getting hit by every single wave, though. Yeah, so that's a good thing you can do in this area, though. And then other than that, just, you know, don't get hit yourself by the cannons. Once you've done this, you get to the next boss here, the Grimrail Enforcers. This boss, there's not too much going on here. It's mostly dodge ground effects. There's a bunch of fire waves that you're going to want to look out for. The other mechanic on this is Sanguine Shield. So from time to time, they'll put a shield on one of the bosses, and you want to not break the shield. If you break the shield, all the bosses will heal for a lot of health. So you want to avoid that. Flaming Slash, there's a frontal that you just want to move out of. And yeah, you can kick the Blood Bolts. The Ogre Traps go on the ground. Don't stand in those. Just do a bunch of damage, kill these things off. Dodge those fire explosions, kill off the bomb squads when they spawn, and yeah, don't break through whichever mob gets shielded. Now, if you're doing this at a pretty low-key level, right, if you've got a Hunter in your group doing 70k DPS on these 3 targets or something like that, there's a good chance that you're going to end up just breaking through the Sanguine Shield. There you can see the shield's gotten applied to the low health one, and almost instantly it gets broken, and now all of the mobs start healing up. They heal for like 15% of their health, so it's definitely good if you can avoid breaking through the shield. If you're on a low enough keystone level that you really can't help breaking through the shield, just don't worry about it. Just keep AoEing and they'll die before the second shield, and you'll be fine. So yeah, that's what's going on this boss encounter. You know, a little bit of lethal mechanics, but not too bad. There's another shield that's gone on that low health. I think it goes on the lowest health one, and we're just not breaking it this time, which is good. Dodging out of that frontal from the Emberblade guy might be something you want to do as well. We weren't really doing that at all in this, but would probably help. That guy's also the one that makes the fire waves, so that's probably the one that's most positionally important to kind of keep track of in your head. And once you do this, you've taken care of the second boss. So it's just one more trash section and then the last 2 bosses to take care of. This area is a little bit weird. So the Wranglers have a frontal in addition to having a bunch of like ranged attacks. And this Cleft Hoof actually stacks up a nasty bleed and like walks around and charges random people. So these mobs definitely deserve quite a bit of respect. Yeah, the Wranglers I think they have a different moveset if they're in melee versus in ranged. But if they're in melee, I think they have a cleave. So yeah, do be careful of that. And if you're not pulling too big here, this shouldn't be too deadly. But if you pull a lot of these at once, those bleeds on the whole party can start to stack up. So watch out for that. So yeah, here's another pull. We've got more Wranglers and Cleft Hoofs. One of these Wranglers is Shrouded, so it's actually a Dreadlord. But you can see when I get into melee with these Wranglers here. Yeah, Rending Cleave. There it is. That's a frontal that's on me. And then the Cleft Hoof just kind of charged out randomly at the group, but now it's back in the party. There's that. I think that was Rending Cleave. Yeah, Rending Cleaves that got our Windwalkers. So that's a good example of what will happen there if you are in front of those Wranglers and you're not the tank. Gotta be really careful of that. And yeah, otherwise these are just the same mobs. There's some trash off to the side that you can grab if you don't have count, if you don't have enough count. Just down over on the docks, I guess that way now, which you can grab if you need. I think we are good on count here, though, and don't need to do that. As I spellbook a res, notice that the healer's already mass resing, and decide to ignore that, and just go and get the next pull here. We've got another Wrangler in this pull, so again, watch the frontal, and this time we've got a Flame Spitter. I'm going to pull this into the next pull of 2 Wranglers, a Flame Spitter, and a Clefthoof. The Flame Spitters do this Lava Barrage, which is not particularly well telegraphed, but it shoots out these lava things that make the fire puddles. Don't stand in the fire. There's no swirly where it's going to land like most modern effects like that have, so you got to be really careful of those. And just like move when it looks at you if it casts Lava Barrage and assume it'll be under your location. It doesn't do too much upfront damage, but the dot is really nasty and will kill you quite quickly. That's what happened. Actually, that procced my cheat death here. But I managed to end up living through it and getting just barely through this pull. Pretty nasty pull, though. Probably not a great double pull if you're not super confident, because there's a lot of stuff that will kind of kill people standing in the wrong spots in a pull like this. So yeah, be warned. Be careful. All right, once this pull's done, we res everybody. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit again, get the reses going. Okay, we got one more trash pull here. You can see we're at 96.7%, so don't need to go and grab anything from off on the sides on the docks, but if you do, you can just go and pick those up now. One more Infiltrator to pick up in this area, and then we've got these other mobs that, again, a little bit of group AoE damage, but I didn't notice too much else different happening here. There's that chain grab, which kind of grips people in, and the Blade Storm, which does AoE damage. Stuff getting thrown on the ground, the spinny axes. So these are the same mobs as at the start of the dungeon that, again, pretty simple by Shadowlands standards in terms of what you got to do against them. No interrupts, nothing like that on these Battle Masters. So you take care of these, and now you're on Oshir, the second to last boss. This boss, you just gotta... there's a damage... Okay, so boss spawns adds by opening up these cages throughout the fight. It also does this thing where it, like, jumps to the side and then rends people in front of it, so you want to make sure you're not in front of it whenever it does that. There it is, the jump, and now anybody in front of it's going to get messed up, and so you just make sure you're not in front of it after that jump. It also does a mechanic called Time to Feed. I'm not sure if it'll do that before it opens the first cage. Okay, so first off, it opens the cage. Here you're going to get a bunch of wolves spawning. Ideally, be careful of these just kind of randomly killing people. They just pick random people in the group to kill. We have Spear Bastion here, so they are made very short work of, but if you don't have that, it's going to be hard, like Mass Grip as well, AoE stuns, that kind of stuff, really valuable against those wolves. Should be the first Time to Feed. No, okay, another frontal dodge thing. Just get out of the way of that. Where's that Time to Feed? I wonder if we just skip past... I'm sure we got at least one. There it is, Time to Feed. So Time to Feed does a lot of damage and roots whoever's being targeted. You can see there are Windwalkers taking about 30% of his health every tick here, and the ticks are pretty fast, so a lot of HPS coming through. Great time for defensives and stuff. It takes a long time to break this. You need to do 8% of the boss's health, I think, in order to actually break the Time to Feed, which on higher keys obviously is going to take a long time to do. So... you're going to have to get through a lot of damage from the boss on that. I don't know if saving offensives to try and break it quickly is the play, or if it's just like, yeah, it's going to last a while. This one, this Sky Terror, is a great target for CC, because you can just CC it and kill the boss. If not, you drag on top of it and interrupt it as well, but if you've got like a mage, they can just poly it, and you can kill the boss far away from it and not worry about it at all. So once Oshir is down... you just have Skullock left, the last boss. Now, Skullock has a little bit of nastiness involved in it, especially here on Quaking Week. That's the kind of thing that I think they might fix. Definitely should fix, but we'll see if or when they do, because there's a spot where you can just get killed if there's a Quake lining up with it. So you pull the boss, and initially Koromar is the orc that's active, and the other orc is in that cannon, and right at the start of the fight we'll do a huge amount of raid damage because that cannon's just going to shoot at everybody for a lot of damage, so you got to watch out for that. And then other than that, you're just kind of dealing with not too many mechanics here. Here comes that cannon barrage just on the whole group. The health bars, you can see, taking quite a bit of damage against this. And this is a plus 16 key, so that is really nasty in high keys. That's defensives for sure. You don't need them for other stuff. Then you get sent back to the back of the boat. Koromar will start blade storming randomly around the middle of the boat. And you need to line of sight this cannon barrage, just like in the trash section in the middle of the dungeon. And somebody needs to get up in melee of Skulllock to end this. So you can usually do that before the second cannon barrage goes off, and then just kill off the orc in the back and keep working on Skulllock. Once you kill off Koromar, which you can see the blade storm there has unfortunately caused a death. Once you do that, Zolgamux will get out of the cannon, which means that you won't get those nasty cannon shots anymore. So it's really nice to do this as quickly as possible. You see our healer just do a quick little NG res here. And then back on boss. And yeah, Zolgamux doesn't do much of anything once he's out of the cannon, so you can just cleave him down. I don't think he has any important mechanics. I don't think I'm gaslighting you with that advice. You just keep on fighting until you get to the next Grand Smash. You keep repeating here. You can use something like Transcendence to actually get back up really quick. I'm not sure if I show that in this video. I might. You can see, yeah, oh yeah, okay. ZQS there tried to transcend and break the cannon barrage, but it seems like the first cannon barrage maybe doesn't break, and you can only break the second one anyways, so I'm not 100% sure on that, but that's how it has felt. So yeah, we keep DPSing. I'm just going to skip ahead and show you the next cannon barrage with the Transcend thing. So I've got my Transcend placed, and here comes the next Grand Smash, sending us to the back of the boat. But you can actually Transcend while you're getting sent back. That's also the spot where Quaking will just kill you. But you can see, even though I get in melee with this thing, this cannon barrage still goes off. And so I'm not 100% sure if there's any way to cancel that first one. If there is, I'm not sure how to do it. But you can definitely stop the second one, and you can use stuff like Transcend or Alter Time or whatever to just get all the way close to the front of the boat behind one of these first line of sight spots. If you want to make it a little bit easier. Either way, you should be able to pretty much always stop it before the second barrage kills your group. Anyways, that's Iron Docks. Hope you enjoyed this little look at this dungeon. If you did, I'll try and make more for like Grimrail and the Karazans and that kind of stuff. Or if not, there's a bunch of other stuff. There's raid content, all kinds of stuff I'm trying to make over the next couple days. So yeah, busy time. Do hope you liked the video though. If you did, remember to like and subscribe and put a comment and all that kind of stuff. That helps me a lot. Yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.